Welcome to another quick review from Ultimate DIYer, and today we are going to look at the Luckyway 32-piece Reciprocating Saw Blade set. So this is a really nice set. They have a really cool little container holding everything together. They have little compartments where everything's going to be kind of separated and broken down. On the back, they're going to give you an actual breakdown of what's in each compartment. So I think that's really, cool. There's a few things you need to understand. One of them is going to be TPI, and that's going to be teeth per inch. That's how you kind of read a lot of these blades so that you kind of know what's going on. Now, when you're looking at the blades, the more aggressive they are, the more aggressive the cut's going to be. In other words, the more pointy and the bigger spacing, it's going to be a very aggressive cut. If it is very fine toothed like this one compared to that, it's going to have a finer, cleaner cut, and a lot of times that's going to have more to do with plastics and metals. So what we've got is we've got a reciprocating saw setting out here. We've got a little block of wood. We're going to test a little bit in a second, but what I'm going to do is bring you guys in just a little bit closer and go over one of each of these, kind of open this up, show you what it looks like in here, but explain basically how the blades work, so that you really have a little bit better understanding of what you're trying to do. So let's do that. All right, so I'm going to try to make this as simple as possible. Let's go ahead and open this up so you see what it looks like. So there's your compartments, and everything is broken down. And one of the things I really like, if you look at these, they not only have the name Luckyway on them, but they've got it printed like a 9-inch blade, and they tell you how many teeth per inch you have right underneath it. So it kind of gives you a great idea of what you've got. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you though is not only is the compartments in the front, everything's nice, you can open it up and you can read the labels like I showed you, but you can flip it over and they give you a complete list of each blade and what it actually does, the thicknesses, which are very important because I'm just going to briefly hit on that. So let me go ahead and start. I've got these broken basically into 3 groups here for you. The first one's going to be a little more aggressive. The second one's just basically wood, and it's going to be medium aggression. And then we are going to have our basic bimetals at the back here. So the very first one I'm going to point out, this one is going to be a 9-inch, and it's a 5 TPI. If you look at the aggression and the big dips here in the teeth, this one is made for pruning. When I see a pattern like this, I automatically know that is a pruning blade, meaning that it's really great for cutting wet branches, all the way up to about 4 inches with this size of a blade. So that is what that one is for. The next one is going to be a 9-inch, 3 TPI, which will cut all types of wood, usually from about 3/4 of an inch up to about 4 inches in thickness. And you'll notice that it's aggressive, but not quite as aggressive as the pruning blade. The next one that we have here, this one is an interesting one. I use this type blade an awful lot. This is going to be for a nail embedded wood. And this is a 6-inch, 10 to 14 TPI. So that is that one there. And you'll actually, if you look, it even tells you wood with nails on it. And usually those blades will be listed. Now they do make those in a little bit more aggressive cut as well. Now if I look over here, these 3 are all going to be wood of different thicknesses. You're going to have a 6-inch with a 6 TPI. You're going to have a 9-inch with a 6 TPI. And then I'm going to have a 6-inch with an 8 TPI. All of these will cut wood, just different thicknesses. Now, and it all depends on, how aggressive. Let me point that out to you. So if you look at this one right here with the 6 TPI is a lot more aggressive than this one with the 8. So this is going to cut a little quicker, but not as pretty of a cut as you will this one. So if you're wanting a really smooth cut, you're looking for the teeth that are much closer and smaller, and it will cut smoother, leaving less splintering. If I look down here to my bimetals, what the bimetal means is it's generally going to cut through metal, things like pipes, rebar, metal up to about 1/8 of an inch thick. The very first one is a 6-inch 14 point. You're going to have a lot more little teeth when you are cutting in metal compared to, say, the pruning blade. It's going to cut a little slower, but it has a lot more work that it has to do. If you look at the next one, we've got a number 6 18 point, and it's still going to do the same thing, but maybe a slightly smoother cut. So the very last one is going to be a 4-inch, it's the shortest of the bunch, 24 TPI, meaning that it is going to have a very fine cut. Still works with pipes, but it also works with sheet metal really, great, especially if you're having to move around and make a shape. And it works great with plastics. So if you're needing to cut something into plastic, this is the blade to go to. So pretty much that's what you get in the box, but you're going to get multiples of each one of those. So it's going to give you a pretty good assortment to handle most DIY and construction type projects that you come across. Now what we're going to do, I've got two types of Sawzalls with me. I've got my little mini and I've got my big boy here. And we're probably just going to go ahead and hook up the big boy, and we're just going to see how quickly it can actually cut through. Now, all of these are going to have a little pointed edge with a hole in it. And most of your new modern reciprocating saws have quick connects like this one here. The one that I have on this one actually has a turnbuckle at the very front. You just turn it and it will open, you slide it in. So we are going to insert it. If you have the battery in, be very careful. Make sure your hands are nowhere near the trigger. All right, so pull it back and it just simply slides in just like that, and you lock it into place. All right, so I'm going to set these over to the side here for just a second. We're going to try not to make a huge mess in here, but I'm going to just try to cut a little bit right here and see what it actually does. Holding it out. Now, generally, if you're holding something like this, put the guard all the way up against the wood itself. There we go. Very aggressive cut on that. Kind of hard to do holding up. Generally, if I was on a construction site, I would have that braced on something. It'd be much easier. But it cut right through like butter. The blade still looks good. Does not look like it got hot. I mean, worked extremely well. So guys, if I was going to rate this on a scale of 1 to 5, I'd give it 5 stars. I love the fact that they give you a case. I love the fact that each one of them are numbered and tell you what you've got. I love the fact they give you a little description on the back of the case so you know what you need for the job at hand. So do yourself a favor, pick yourself up a set today, and we'll see you guys on the next review.